Alright guys, it's Monday. Yes it is. My shoe keeps rubbing. Oh no, it's not rubbing. It's actually, it's touching it, but I thought to myself, these shoes have never rubbed and hurt the side of my ankle, but I forgot I got a little burn spot there from the plasma cutter the other day on the old C10 utility bed. So, anyways, waiting on some. I'm gonna be jumping back on the interior on the C10. Some of the speakers and brackets and all that just came in, so I got to pick those up from Jason at some point. Or I don't know if he's gonna swing by one day this week or what. With that being said, I'm messing back with my rat rod truck and just doing a few things. This fabrication stuff and metal stuff and all that takes some time. I haven't done a ton of it to be able to judge like, oh yeah, this shouldn't take this long or whatever. It usually takes 3 times as long as I expect, but because you think, oh, it's just a little plate. Yeah, that's gonna be easy, but you know. Anyways, what I'm doing here is cutting out, this is actually aluminium to make a little, let me show you. Which I've got this, will hook me up a straight edge so I can cut a straight line since I'm not the best at that. So I'm just cleaning up the edges on that, and I take some construction board here, and this is the hole I'm filling. This is actually, you can buy the plates from LMC, I'm sure other places, but it's a 2-piece plate, and that's actually where the original pedals came through. So there would be holes in it, and I'm gonna have to make a new setup for, obviously not factory. So pretty much cut out a piece of that board, and it dips in, so I basically just rubbed and pushed on it. And that's one good thing about the dirt and grime, is you'll see it on the back, and you kind of just start snipping and cutting. Stuff they teach you in kindergarten. So anyways, that's that. And the hole that you see here and these templates that I made are going to be for the steering column to secure it to the firewall there. I'm actually going to sandwich it with that plate. Of course, last time I worked on it, we got the seats in. And yeah, then the hole for the steering column to come out. And I've got to actually cut that and finish making the plates for that to do the steering column. There they are. I'm gonna say there's some round ones in here somewhere. So I actually need to weld these 2 plates together, make it a little bit thicker to go on top of the steering column. And that'll be that. I'll make some video on building that steering column too, but right now we're just in here tinkering while we got some time to mess around with this stuff. There we go. My board hit the ground. Right, this out of the way. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this edge off here, and so I can start with a straight line before I start my measurements of exactly what I do need, because this piece has holes all around it and sides and everything. Alright, so side to side, I'm going to start with, I believe it was 8.5 inches. This template is, I think, just under 8, so 8 3/8. Yeah. So we're gonna go 8.5 from side to side, because there was a very small gap on each side, so you could use it, the 8.5 possibly, and if not, we'll just trim it off. It's better to have a little extra metal that you just need to kind of tweak and trim off versus putting it in there and going, dang, I need 1/8 of an inch or something, because that's a lot more difficult and a pain in the butt, and you might as well probably just start over. So we're gonna go 8.5. Which doesn't leave us a whole lot on the sides in the first place of what I've cut here. Let's see if we can kind of duplicate that, and we've got to go up, I think 7.5. Yeah, it's 7.25, so we're gonna go 7.5. Because we're gonna cut this lip off, so go right there. I'm gonna go ahead mark this up here. And shots rang out. Ew. I know. Please don't ever do that again. I get it. Guess what? You ain't the boss of me. I'm gonna do it again. Well, so I got these fancy markers that are supposed to basically mark on anything, all that good stuff like Milwaukee has. This is like an anti-roll ridge. That's just for the marker itself, but these are supposed to be the same thing from Harbor Freight. I saw they had them. You know, these markers, tape measures, pocket screwdrivers, you know, small stuff that you're always looking for to grab is never seems to be around, basically, is what I'm saying. When you go to look for one, you set it down, or I put it in my pocket and you're looking around. So it's one of those things, you kind of see them out at the store and you grab a pack. what I'm saying is you can never have too many. So, that being said, I just tried to use the Harbor Freight one, and it wasn't really having it. It marked, but not very good. So, just a little tool tip for you. If you have a choice between the Milwaukee and the Harbor Freight on markers, get the Milwaukee. And, you know, with the tool stuff, I've had Snap-on, Top Notch, I still do all this stuff. The price of stuff is ridiculous, of everything right now, but what I'm trying to say is the cheaper stuff can be good. There is some good cheaper stuff, and Harbor Freight has made some pretty decent stuff that I have and I buy. I actually bought a Hercules hole saw kit because I had the cheaper Harbor Freight version from years ago and just haven't had to really use it much, is I guess what I'm saying. So that's what I had at the time. So now that I had to use it, getting into more of this metal work and figuring all this stuff out, I've had to buy some nicer stuff. And that Hercules brand, it was nicer than what I had. And it was that versus probably spending another $100 versus what I got those for. And I decided to give them a shot. They got the job done and seemed to be pretty decent, so I ain't mad at it. Now, if I was a full-time fabrication shop and did metal work non-stop, yeah, I'd be getting something else probably. I don't know how they would hold up to continuous use, but that's just my 2 cents on some of the tools and things like that. They get expensive. They get real expensive. You know, being a mechanic, you gotta buy tools, and yeah, some of that cheaper stuff is great. It's fine, but some of it ain't. So you gotta spend the money either way. Whether you spend $400 on an item or 20. Oh look, another example. You get these drill bits from Harbor Freight. You know, sometimes on sale for 20 bucks or 30, 40 bucks. And then you also have Matchco. Look at them. Them's real nice. And those are about $500. I think they're $450 or $429.39, something like that. So these are almost one-time use with certain things. You make a few cuts, and it's hard to keep the heat out of them because they're high speed and they burn up easy. So you're doing a couple holes here or there, a couple small holes, you get by. But you're doing anything thicker and whatnot, even trying to keep them lubed and cooled down, in my experience, burn up pretty quick. So $500 drill bit set, more so worth it, because as you can see, I have 3 of these and have had multiple others in the past, because that's what I typically did, was just use the cheap stuff. Goes bad, chuck it, grab another one because they were so cheap. But you get to the point to where, okay, I'm doing more and more of this, I need to get a good set, because it is frustrating trying to drill holes and it takes you twice as long, or you got to run out and buy even more. So yeah, I'm just over here rambling and blabbing on about stuff. So instead of actually working, y'all are a horrible influence. Well, what? That ain't magnetic. What the crap is it sticking to it for? Those of you out there there is definitely other ways to do this, and you know, probably better ways to do this. But you know what? This is how I'm doing it, and this is how I'm making it work. So you can do the same, find a new technique. I don't know if that looks straight. Seems wide to me, I don't know. Like I said, that's one of the biggest things with cutting all this matter and doing all this stuff. Is I feel like I can never cut or get a damn straight line to save my soul. Which can be quite frustrating. But it's a good thing we ain't building show cars either. Because I wouldn't be in that show. They'd come over there and say, what's this? And I'd say, that's a crooked line, sir, and there's many of them if you want to keep looking. So you just walk on by, because this ain't the straight line guy. But I'm trying here, as you can see. To keep it somewhat consistent. Alright then. This is 8.5 and 7.5, so good enough. We're squared-ish. We're squared-ish over here. Alright, let's see. We're gonna hook this bad boy up or what? Oh, got a couple choices for sanding it down a little bit. The edges. I need to get a stand for this guy. It's a bit noisy. I'm trying to work with my phone here. Still ain't found me a deal on a camera. What I put there it is. So, yeah. Let's get her sparked up and trim these sharp edges down a little bit and clean it up. Get the spider webs off of it. Definitely don't take all my advice or techniques or whatever. Like I said, I about lose a finger probably every time I try this stuff, so you know, proceed with caution is what I'm saying. I'm just old retarded ass mechanic. I just gotta roll these corners. What was I saying? The aluminum. It's pretty thick, solid. Happy about that because the metal would have been just even harder to try and shape with this since it kind of dips in and rolls at the top. So I am, let's see, it's pretty close all the way around. I'm gonna trace this piece out now for basically cutting these ears off. This is about a marker's length. Got about a marker's length on each side. All around it. Like I said, basically just keeping an edge on it to where you can trim off a little bit if need be, or if you need it a little bit more, it's there. So we're gonna start trimming this out, getting a little bit closer. Then, can you see me right now? Am I just, you're talking to the body of yeah, I'm gonna trim the corners now because I need to get it as close to this template as I can, and I'll go over there and test fit it, and then try and see where I need to shave a little bit off or what. And it will probably need a little bit of a curve up at the top. And I'm not sure if I'll just do, I'm probably gonna do some type of silicone around that just to keep some of the wind noise and air coming through, because I mean it's gonna have probably quite a bit anyways. Probably not that big of a deal, but I may do a bead of silicone, and honestly I might do rivets around it instead of just self-tapping screws. And there's a good possibility that I'm gonna be having to cut this up later in the future, or maybe doing a hole or something for a pedal, but I actually don't think I will, but I may have to mount to this. So also, well, I'm glad it's got some thickness and strength to it, but yeah. And you know, keep in mind this is also new to me. You know, if you've followed me or seen any of the other videos or my walk around on the Civic, I started out in the Honda world, the Honda scene, doing Honda stuff, and I still enjoy that. It's just those things are kind of, you know, like the older stuff, they're starting to get hard to find, to get parts, and all that good stuff. I started falling in love with rust, so I've kind of shifted what type of toys I like, or the look and all that stuff. So a lot of this stuff is kind of a new learning curve for me on, you know, what things you gotta do to bring them back to life, and even the terms they use and whatever with all this stuff. It's just different, whole different game, you know. So some of this stuff is way different. Like I said, it's whole new learning curve. I've never. And then you got to consider the age of things being worked on. I've never done this stuff to a Honda before, so no. Yet. Can't say it won't happen. But yeah. I'm saying I ain't got all the answers, and I probably ain't doing this like some of them other guys you see, or can explain things better to you, stuff like that. I'm just winging it, guys. I'm trying to learn. I'm just getting in there and doing it. You guys are here with me. I'm trying to figure it out too. If you're into this stuff. I'm gonna take you around the other side here. Maybe be able to see a little bit better. Hopefully. This is gonna take some curvature to it. It's definitely gonna need some curvature. So I gotta kind of figure that out too. Those plates out of the way. Here's what we have. Here's our hole. Obviously, we've got to get it to kind of dip. And I don't know. I don't want to keep cutting out of it because that dip, once you push it in, is going to take some of that length away. And I ain't got no fancy metal working tools, so I'm wondering if I need to maybe throw a few screws in the bottom to hold it in place and then try and push on it there. I'm gonna round this bottom just a little bit, like this corner. Almost skim that down. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a couple self-tapping screws down here so I can keep it in position while I'm trying to work that. Now we're gonna try to get us some curvature on this bad boy. It took a little bit to it, but it ain't wanting to work with me too well here. I gotta think. I mean, I could take it out and find something to roll it on a little bit better, but I was hoping that would work. But it's pretty stiff. Like I said, I'm not the guy to ask all about shaping metal, so basically just try and think of something to make it work. I mean, if I could screw into that and probably draw it in some, but I'd like to put a little curve into it, a little better curve. So let's see what I can do here. Right now, I don't know. I don't think you can see me where the camera is, but basically, I'm bending it over my leg to get the curve out of it. See, now I got too much. Too much in the kind of the middle. It needs to be more towards the end. So I need a little bit curve in the middle starting up, but then at the top I need more of a edge. I'll try to bring you with me over here. Yeah. So, I basically just took it, bent it over my leg, but the width of my leg and this, it could really only get a decent curve right in the middle, but I need it to be more towards the top to kind of dip in. So, start of the curve here is fine, but it needs to be more so at the top. So I'm just gonna give this a try. See. Like I said, I don't know how much it needs out of it, so just gonna go a little bit, go over here and check it. Alright guys, I think I got it tweaked pretty good already, with my leg and that little bit on the vise there. I had to push a little bit back out off of my leg, but check that out. That fits pretty good. It's pretty flat up in there, all around the sides like we want it. So I think that'll do. Actually, took a marker on the back from the outside, and it needs a lip, but I think I need to be taking some more off of the top there to get a little bit better fit in it. Kind of see that it comes up. Let's just set it back up there again. So I'm sitting about right there where that black line is up, and I probably want to come down just a little bit, make it fit a little bit better. I don't know, the old trusty tape measure. So I may want to take 3/8 of an inch off. Yeah. We're about 1/8 from that line, but that was on the bottom side of the back, and obviously we still needed a lip. So I'm thinking if I had to go up here and trim off 3/8, I mean that'll still leave me over 1 inch of a lip up there, so I think that'll be good. So basically I'm going to take 3/8 off the top of this, try and keep that same shape, and I think we'll be golden. And then I will just the self-tapping screws work fine, but with this lip you can kind of see right there, just trying to get it in there with the self-tapping and not being able to see exactly where you're going. It's right at the edge. So, and it does have some holes already from where the original plates were supposed to go. So I think I'm gonna try and utilize those original holes, maybe drill them out just a little bit bigger and use rivets so I can actually get holes drilled without missing the metal or being right on the edge there. Just guessing with the self-tappers. So I think I'm just gonna go with the rivets there just to have a little better accuracy and hold her in place. And yeah, like I said, once I do that, I may throw me a bead of silicone around here to help seal it off. I mean, obviously you got a bunch of small little holes up through here, all through the firewall. You know, hole here in the floor. I plugged this hole, plugged the hole back there. You know, it's a rat rod. And you've got I may redo all this and whatever. But you've got, I do need to trim this plate back a little bit more. I had it at one point sitting right, I guess, but anyways, there's gonna be wind noise, there's gonna be rattling, all that good stuff, but I guess what I'm trying to say is try to minimize it as much as I can so it ain't horrible. So yeah. Here she sits. That's gonna be kind of the gist of it for me today. Just wanted to make a quick video, show you guys what I'm fiddling around with here. I'm gonna finish that up. Probably work on another car, and then may come back to the steering column. And I'll try and kind of show you the idea of the steering column and what's gonna happen and what needs to happen, and go on with that. Also, another first for me. Never built a steering column. Never really even thought you could build a steering column. I mean, like, I don't know, I guess from what you see in cars and whatnot and the way they look, it's just, I don't know. But you can build a steering column. And thanks to Jason, he's kind of done some research on that and did his on his rat rod. So kind of have an idea and platform to go off of with him and what he did. So I'm kind of duplicating and replicating a lot of what he did, but once again, actually doing it first for me. We're going to tackle that next. Check it later. Appreciate you guys.